Over the past day or so, it seems like there's been some really tough talk from officials about Speaker McCarthy basically saying he's talking out of both sides of his mouth, accusing him of, in public, claiming he's willing to negotiate, and in private, rejecting any compromise. Does the president believe he's dealing with someone who is negotiating in good faith?
The president believes that negotiations are actually remaining productive, and that's what's important. The conversations that are happening with his team, right? This is a team when it comes to who we're dealing with on the other side of Pennsylvania, right? The group of House negotiators. That is Speaker McCarthy's team, and so they remain to be productive. We believe that if they continue to work in good faith and recognize that neither side is going to get what they want, we can get this done. We can get this done.
Is negotiating in good faith.
That's been our experience as we're dealing with their negotiators, and that's what we're saying. If it keeps going in good faith, then we can get to an agreement here that is bipartisan and that will get out of the House and get out of the Senate.
If necessary, is the president willing to sign a temporary extension of the debt limit in order to get this deal done?
Look, just not going to get into any short-term or temporary pieces of legislation. What we're trying to get to is something that has been done 78 times since 1960, is raise the debt limit. That's something that Congress has done. You know, we're talking about, when you're talking about what's happening with this manufactured crisis, this would be the first time that we could potentially default. And we should not be doing that. This is not something that this nation is known for. You heard the president say over and over again, we are not a deadbeat nation. Look, we're going to let the negotiators do their job, continue to have the conversation, and we believe that there's a path forward.
So he's not taking a temporary extension off the table?
I'm just saying that that's not the conversation that we're focused on. The conversation that we're focused on is dealing with a budget negotiation that is bipartisan and that is reasonable. That's what's important right now, and continuing to call on Congress to raise the debt limit or to do their job. Simple. Go ahead.
Karine, on the debt ceiling, is there a drop dead? I mean, big surprise, right? Is there a drop dead date where, you know, after which it becomes impossible to enact the legislation that's necessary? You know, so do you have to have a deal tonight, tomorrow? You know, is Friday enough time to get to that potential X date?
No, I get this. I get the question. Look, our country has never defaulted on its debt, and it never will. And that's kind of our focus, right? We've never done this, and we will never this will never happen, right? That's the way we see this, you know, that's going to be our focus. That's the answer that I have for you on that piece.
Can you say a word about contingency planning in terms of, you know, special measures? The Treasury has taken extraordinary measures. There are additional novel approaches that have been described by various think tanks or economists or experts. Would the president prefer some, you know, extra or additional extraordinary measures to having to invoke the 14th Amendment?
So, as it relates to the 14th Amendment, the president has been very clear that is just not the answer here. The answer here is for Congress to do its job, like they did 78 times since 1960. That's the answer. As it relates to the X date itself, that's something that the Treasury Department will do. That's clearly on their watch. That is something that they will focus on. And so I'm just going to leave it to the Secretary. I believe she did an interview earlier this morning. And so I would refer you to the Treasury Department on this particular question.